So Bill O'Reilly is going to talk about white privilege on his show and the problem with colleges. And he's going to bring on Katie Pavlik, who's going to say something so incredibly stupid that I just don't even know where to start. So let's start with the clip.
The white privilege, 3 days. They didn't need 1 day. They needed 3 days to confront their white privilege background.
You know, Bill, to me, especially in the Northeast, confronting my white privilege is going to the tanning salon. Don't worry, it's a spray tan, so it's not going to give me cancer, hopefully. But look, you know, we're talking about this white privilege issue, and yes, it's funny and it's easy to laugh at, but I actually think it's quite racist, and I think that we have to talk about it in those terms.
Why is it racist? Why is white privilege racist? I mean, the other side says if you're white, you're racist just by the privilege you have.
You're being prejudiced towards people based on the color of their skin, and I reject this idea that only white people can be racist when white students on these university campuses are now being ostracized for the color of their skin. I mean, it's out of control. You have the University of Kansas, you have students who aren't embracing the Black Lives Matter movement, so they're being run out of student government. You have presidents of universities being their careers being ruined as a result of not going with the flow of what's politically correct, with no evidence, by the way. And it's anti-American. We're not allowed to have free speech on these college campuses. They're pitting students against each other based on race. I mean, it really is quite alarming.
It is pathetic.
Oh, it's pathetic, all right. Look, there's a lot of stupid to unpack here. So let's go through it point by point, right? So Kennedy Montgomery, who was the first one they actually went to, she's like, well, man, I haven't cashed in my white privilege yet. Really? That's not something you cash in, you moron. That's not something that you do. White privilege isn't a commodity that you spend like coins, okay? In a coin machine. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's so incredibly stupid. Saying that, like, what, I gotta confront my whiteness. Well, that's not what we're asking. What we're asking is for people to realize that they have some inborn advantages that some other people who have different skin colors don't. That's the thing we're asking. And now to go to Katie Pavlik, right? So she says, it's funny and easy to laugh about it, right? But I actually think it's quite racist. This is reverse racism. That's what this whole issue is. Telling us that we have advantages? How dare you? That's fucking racist. Are you fucking kidding me? You've got to be shitting me. No, she's absolutely serious about this. She said you're being prejudiced against people based on their color of their skin. How is pointing out how certain people have advantages based on nothing more than an arbitrary amount of melanin in your skin racist? Wouldn't it be racist to ignore that and to say everything's great, everything's perfect? Hey, if you're a person of color, quit bitching. That seems more racist. To discount the advantages that we enjoy. Now, okay. Now, you're sitting at home, right? And you're a white person, you're a poor person. Hey, look, I've been there. I'm a poor person too. Okay? You're sitting there at home again. What the fuck? I can't find a job, Jeff. How dare you say that I have privilege? How dare you? Well, I'm going to address you. You see, Bill O'Reilly, he said, well, you got one side that calls you racist. Well, actually, no. You're not racist. That's not what we're saying at all. See, Bill O'Reilly has taken this issue, and Katie Pavlik have taken this, and they've twisted it around. Pointing out privilege isn't about calling people racist. It's about pointing how how certain people have certain advantages. One of them being, of course, the getting the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Hey man, a lot of people think, oh come on, that's not a privilege. But it actually is. Because there's a lot of people that don't get the benefit of the doubt. And I want to get into that a little bit later. But first, Pavlik, she said that they're pitting students against each other. That's actually not what's going on. Pointing out white privilege means that you can even the playing field. Once you know about it, you can go, oh wow, we're treating people differently based on the color of their skin. Well, that's not right. And we did it so without even realizing that we do it. Well, maybe we should fix that now that we're aware of the problem. Right now, it's not equal. And if you're arguing that it should stay unequal, that people shouldn't realize that they have advantages, that's kind of racist. Let's be honest about it. It's also anti-American. I'm just saying. And here's the thing. Guy sitting at home. White guy, can't find a job. See, we're not here to demonize you. Okay? That's the last thing that we want to do. We know you're not a racist. Calling you a racist is absurd. If anything, it's about, I don't know. Let's go with this, okay? Gina Crossley-Corcoran, right, said it kind of best, right? Quote, recognizing privilege doesn't mean suffering guilt or shame for your lot in life. Nobody's saying that straight white middle class able-bodied males are a bunch of assholes who don't work hard for what they have. But if you listen to Bill O'Reilly, that's exactly what you're hearing, because that's what they're interpreting it to be. What she says is recognizing privilege simply means that you're aware that some people have to work much harder to experience the things that you take for granted if they can ever experience them at all. Oh, once again, I bring back the benefit of the doubt. You know they've done different studies, right? And different experiments where a black guy and a white guy both tried to steal a bike. Or no, they tried to get their own bike off a chain without the key. Everybody thought the black guy was stealing the bike, whereas the people were actually helping the white guy get his bike off the chain. Or you've seen the study where white names with the exact same qualifications on a job application are called back more often than black sounding names. It's not the jobs being racist, it's that privilege. You see James Smith, you think of a white guy, he's more trusting. Same qualifications. They see Jamar, well, they draw some conclusions. Maybe it's unconscious, most likely it is, but nonetheless, they're conclusions that sort of get you to opt towards the white sounding name. Now, it's not as if that we choose to take things for granted, right? People like me. We often don't know what we take for granted because we've never experienced otherwise, right? We've never experienced anything different. Growing up as a white kid, I didn't know what white privilege was. I didn't know I had it. We assumed that everybody grew up with the same experience. And when I was younger, it never really dawned on me that, people would assume that someone would have criminal tendencies, for example, based on the color of their skin. It wouldn't, I didn't get that. I thought everybody was treated the same. Well, it turns out they're not. And when you find that out, it changes your worldview. And I knew very few African Americans. I knew very few black people growing up. And so I was never really exposed to that until I started looking. I started talking to different people. I started learning people's experience. And as I said, it blew my mind because I never knew up until that point. Did that make me a racist? Absolutely not. Because once I learned, once I realized and got experiences, I was like, wow, maybe I should be a little bit more careful. Maybe I shouldn't assume everybody's being treated equally. And maybe I should do something to help other people get treated the same. And I think that's true for the majority of people. When they find out that they have certain advantages over other people over something as arbitrary as the color of their skin, it tends to make them think, wow, that's not fair. That's not fair for them. maybe we should help them get up to our level. We should raise them up. Nobody wants to lower anyone else down. Nobody wants to be racist. No good person actually wants to be racist against other people. You want to raise people up, not shove them down. But see, this is the thing that idiots like Katie Pavlik do. They do segments like these, and they get people to think that it is racist to say that someone has privilege. And that's not true. It's not true. At the end of the day, as I had said, white privilege is about getting the benefit of the doubt. It is something that is passive. And it's something that we never realize until we get to know people who are different and who have different experiences than what we do. It's not racism. It's about pointing out how unequal the system is. And that we all have a responsibility to fix it.